Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So we're back with a Ashe supplementary guide, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Ashe top build. Now the top like 2 to 3 people on Ashe are playing with this, what I think is a pretty funky build, and we're going to be taking a look at it, right away. So first up, we're going to start off with the items. No surprise here, we're going for the Gluttonous Greaves as the first item, which of course gives you extra AD as well as Omnivamp. And then we're going to go into Bloodthirst, the first item. Again, no surprise here. It gives you a lot of AD, physical vamp, and extra stats when you're high in health. Pretty much the best first item for majority of ADCs. And then we go into Ruinous Hurricane, which of course gives us additional, attack speed on hits, as well as a little bit of extra stats. But the most important part is, of course, being able to auto-attack 3 people at the same time. So with Ashe, this is really good because it allows you to apply your passive slow onto 3 people. So this, not too much of a surprise here. Now where it gets interesting is in our next couple of items. So first up, of course, you can see we skipped off IE, and we're going for a Maul Reminder next. So Maul Reminder obviously gives us the Armor Pen as well as the Grievous Wounds. Pretty straightforward item here. But then we're going to double attack speed item, which is where it gets interesting. So first up, we already have 35% attack speed from here, and then we go into Magnetic Blaster, which gives us another 35% attack speed, as well as we all know, the additional attack range, as well as of course the Static Shift passive, which of course always useful. And then we finally end it off with a Phantom Dancer, which is going to give us a ton of attack speed as well as movement speed. Now I feel the main logic of this build is pretty straightforward. So you have Kraken Slayer as your rune. So with this build, you have a really good amount of attack speed as well as attack damage. So you have, of course, a lot of AD from here, and then not there, but you have a decent amount of AD from you have from here, a lot from here, a little bit from here, a little bit from here, that kind of thing. And when you have built up the AD, you just spec into full-on attack speed, as well as we have attack speed earlier on from here. This allows you to proc Kraken Slayer, very heavy hitting in the early and the middle to later stages of the game as well. So this gives you a lot of damage from Kraken Slayer. You guys will see in the stats at the end of the game that we get so much extra damage from Kraken Slayer. Of course, Brutal, because we're gonna auto attack a ton. Giant Slayer, of course, because it gives you the most value in the slot, considering health, extra health on the enemy teams. And we have Alacrity, of course, for more attack speed, as well as Bone Plating for the defensive capabilities. And then we of course have Ghost together with Flash. You could also go for Exhaust if you need it, but Ghost is just generally better. But with all that said, let's jump into our gameplay. Righty ho, so on we go to the gameplay itself. So Ashe is again one of those ADCs that not really very support dependent, because of course Ashe can be played as a support herself, although now ADC Ashe is more popular. And of course Ashe is also the kind of champion that is pretty self-sufficient in a way. You don't really need an engager or an enchanter with you, so really any support will do. Of course some are better than others, but generally your support not too important. Now I have to say that coming up real soon, maybe we'll talk a little bit more about it when we get there, but coming up real soon is gonna be a kind of huge blunder from me. Actually, you know what, I'll talk about it when we get there. Let's just first talk about the early lane. So with the early lane, pretty straightforward for Ashe. What you want to do is you have the second highest base attack, only second to Caitlyn. So generally, you want to step up and auto attack people and bully them, and you want to launch your W's, of course, at them, to just give out some poke, and you generally just want to abuse the enemy lane if you can. But of course, it's not going to be possible every match. So in this match, we have a Rakan who can engage on us. So if we step up a little bit too far, he could get a good engage into a Xayah route into trouble. So we may not necessarily want to do that, all the time in this particular lane matchup. But in some other lane matchups, particularly against like engagers like Nautilus or Leona, it would seem that you are really vulnerable to getting engaged on. But actually, in reality, most of the time, you actually have very good potential against it. So here is where the mistake comes in. So here you can see I basically flash in, I tank like 2 tower shots, and I just die there, when I could have easily killed the Rakan and just walked out. So what happened here? This is the big blunder that I was really referring to. So basically what happened here is, you know how you need to drag your the arrow button on the bottom right hand corner to target manually. So I was trying to manually target Xayah, but I swapped targets to Rakan. But for some reason, when I got to under the tower, the target was locked on Xayah, so the game didn't allow me to auto attack Rakan. And when I tried to change the target to Rakan, the like kind of indicator that to kind of indicate who to attack was just flying all over the screen, and I just couldn't get to lock onto Rakan, which is what led to me flashing under tower, taking 2 tower shots and dying, which literally looks like I'm running it down and inting to like my teammates. That's kind of what happened. So horrible start to the game, as you guys can already see. But hopefully we can recover from that, and hopefully we can kind of salvage the situation. Here Rakan tries to go in onto Nami. I'm able to get off a pretty good trade proccing the Kraken Slayer. Short trades you will pretty much always win because you will proc Kraken Slayer, and since Xayah has Conquer, which is good for longer trades, short trades will always be won by me. So I just get 3 attacks and run away. I should always win the trade, which is basically what happened there. I got 3 attacks onto Rakan and 3 attacks onto Xayah. Of course the attacks on Rakan were before Xayah could hit. So here you can see I'm already at 2 stacks of Kraken Slayer, but Singe does come in, so I'm going to have to pop the Ghost and run away. Unfortunately, Ahri comes in as well, and we basically get 4-man ganked in the top lane. I am able to escape with the help of the Ghost, and also because Nami took the charm instead of me, so I'm going to recall and grab myself some items since you can't really stay under tower anyways. Now there's like a 1k gold difference between me and the Xayah, of course because we died to Xayah, and now she picked up another kill as well from the gank. So situation is looking pretty dire. The enemy ADC is kind of snowballing out of control. But in this kind of situations, all we really can do is just sit tight, try to farm up, and look for opportunities to get kills elsewhere, or maybe even kill the duo lane if they make a mistake or something like that. Not really a lot else you can do when you're on the back foot. Alright, there is technically other things you can do, but the best way to go about it generally is to wait for the enemy team to make mistakes and just, continue on farming. So here, speaking of mistakes, you can see Rakan is just taking so much free damage, basically dies before Xayah even gets there, and we're able to pick up the kill onto him. Now Xayah is now stuck in a 1v2. I of course go the long way around to avoid the feathers. I'm just blasting her from over the wall, but I'm taking a little bit too much damage. Syndra comes in for the combo, doesn't quite hit it, kind of misses basically nearly everything. And it's pretty much just time to leave because we don't want to stick around here for too long and get ganked by Singe or something like that. But we are just going to shove in the wave, and we can just go ahead and back and get ourselves some items. So Ashe is also particularly good into teams that are very kiteable. So in this particular team, you will realize that Aatrox and even Singe are relatively kiteable. Now Singe is a little bit of a debate because he can technically pop like Ghost and Protoball and stuff, and he's not really that easy to kite. But in general, Singe can be kited quite easily if he doesn't have these kind of extra tools to get there. Here we go in and like we nearly finish off the Rakan. We actually do finish off the Rakan, but for some reason Syndra just stands around and does like nothing while I'm just getting whacked by Xayah. She just walks away. I'm not sure if she didn't have cooldowns or what was the problem here, but she just walks away, and now she just tosses everything and misses anyways. But yeah, it's kind of a little bit awkward here. But as I was trying to say, like Ashe is really good at the teams that can be kited. So things like Singed and Aatrox here, Ashe is a really good pick into them because it's really hard for them to reach Ashe, and Ashe can DPS a lot of damage while they're trying to close the gap. And by the time they realize it's time to run, they normally kind of get stuck in a situation where they're slowed and they can't run away. Because if they couldn't reach you, why would they be able to run away? The only thing that can really save them is their team, or like running to tower if they're close enough, things like that. Of course, Ashe generally performs better when she has a front line, but I don't really have a front line in this game. Like we're kind of all like backline kind of champions. Like Master Yi is like the most front champion, but he's like a fighter. He's not really even a tank or anything like that. So here we're going to trade Herald for Dragon. And Rakan for some reason goes in, almost dies, tries to ult away, but I'm gonna have to ult him to allow my Master Yi to pick up the kill. And and in return he helps to steal my minions after taking the kill. So now we're gonna just go for tower plates, or Master Yi might be going for Xayah, I'm not sure. He's going for Xayah, I'm going for tower plates. Ahri is now in for the charm onto the Nami, who takes tower aggro because Master Yi went untargetable. And now Master Yi is caught behind enemy lines. It becomes a whole party here. We're gonna quickly grab the minions before Syndra can yoink them, and Master Yi tries to go in again under tower, takes a ton of damage, again survives on pretty much 1 HP at this point. Now Syndra is trying to go in. Ahri and Rakan are both like basically 1 HP, but they're they're sculling away with their lives. Syndra is on the chase, doesn't get the Rakan. Now is getting chased by Xayah, and minions run out, so she tanks a tower shot. And yeah, not too much really ends up being achieved here, aside from me getting quite significant tower damage, and getting, I guess, a lot of plates. But aside from that, you know, not too much was achieved in that whole instance, because it was just dives and re-dives, but no one was really dying. So yeah. Anyways, next up, Xayah goes in on me, and I know I'm dead at this point because I tried to cancel my back to help out Nami because I thought Nami was getting caught out by Aatrox, but in reality, I could have and should have just completed the back, and because Nami was actually able to make it out safely, as you guys can see, although that could have been a result of Xayah focusing me instead of her, but I definitely couldn't have helped her even if I canceled my recall, as we can see just based on what actually happened. So definitely should have completed my recall there. Another mistake made by me. I'm not doing too hard at all. I'm 1-3-3 at the moment. And I'm now 2k behind the enemy, Xayah, who's 5-0. So it's definitely not a good game for me thus far. But obviously, based on the fact that this is on YouTube, we must have found a way to turn it around. So stay tuned, you know, for how we've managed to do that. Of course, you know, as I say, you know, relatively often, not every game is going to go your way at the beginning of the game. A lot of games that you win are going to be comebacks. A lot of times that you get so fed in the early game, you know, you go legendary in the early game, you lose because, you know, your whole team is weak, or like, you know, an enemy assassin constantly kills you, things like that. So you never really know what the outcome of the game is going to be. So here I'm able to actually get the entire tower, which gives me a lot of extra gold actually, and actually narrows the gap between me and Xayah to like almost like kind of 1k. Here I whiffed the arrow pretty badly, to be honest. And here I'm just trying to chase down Rakan and Aatrox. I flash in to finish off the kill onto Rakan. And now Aatrox is taking heavy fire on the tower. I'm just going to focus the tower because the tower is really low. So we kill the tower and allows Master Yi to flash back and escape. If the tower was there, that would have been significantly more difficult. But regardless, now we're going to go back to base. We have already completed our Bloodthirster, and now we have, you know, of course, the attack speed component of the Hurricane. And, you know, of course, we're going to start, you know, putting in some work, especially when we complete the Hurricane, to allow us to attack multiple people at the same time. But as a whole, the two teams are, like, relatively even. You can see that in this particular game, like Teemo is slightly behind and the Aatrox, but Master Yi is slightly ahead. Syndra's ahead by like quite a decent amount, and I'm behind by quite a decent amount. So Nami's slightly ahead. So overall, the whole game kind of just balances out. And in this particular case, I'm kind of the weak link on my team because it's Master Yi and Syndra at the moment that's really the one that's carrying the team at the moment. And I'm kind of just you know, in the back seat at the moment, especially because Xayah is the main carry on the enemy team now because she is so fed. So it's kind of a situation that we don't necessarily want to be in, but the silver lining here is that at least we're not doing well, but our team is doing well in the sense that, you know, Syndra and Master Yi are doing pretty well. So at least we have that. You know, in a situation where you're not doing well and your team's not doing well, it's kind of just a complete disaster angle where just everyone is just not doing well, and is nothing too much you can do in those kind of games unless the enemy team throws, which of course still does happen. So here we spot like Aatrox, and we're just kind of trying to get some free damage in onto him. Of course, we know that, you know, he can easily be kited, so, you know, we are just blasting him for free pretty much. Now Dragon is of course up, so Ahri tries to go in pretty much 1v5, gets one shot by Syndra, and the enemy team does get the Dragon, but they're taking a lot of damage and they're kind of stuck in a poor position. So here I'm trying to focus on Xayah to get the shutdown. She ults and flashes the wall, so I can't really get it. Singed is able to scurry away as well, but we still managed to get kills on Ahri and Rakan, even though they got the Dragon. So overall, I think it's still not the worst situation in the world. With that, it allows us to pick up our Brunan's Hurricane, which is obviously going to mean that we're going to be a lot stronger in the ensuing fight. Baron's coming up in half a minute, although it's unlikely that either team just goes straight for Baron at this point. I'm just going to clear the wards in the jungle and possibly clear the wave. Now Master Yi is actually going for the wave, and I didn't really want to fight him for the wave, so I end up just going for the Krugs, and he's going to be able to get the huge wave. Of course, Master Yi and Syndra are incredibly fed. Syndra's like almost 3k ahead of the Ahri, so she's really doing very well in this particular game. I'm still like now 2k go behind the Xayah, so I'm still not doing too hot in this game, at least not yet. Now we're gonna grab the red buff real quick. And yeah, just clearing out some minions. It's kind of that normal lull period you have in the mid game where neither team can really start Baron, but there isn't really anything to do. So it's just like teams clearing wave and pushing in. Enemy team clears wave and pushes in. Same kind of same old story that we normally have like pretty much every game. Mini fight kind of just breaks out in the river, and me and Nami are kind of just trying to rotate. There, Master Yi and Teemo taking on their duo lane. Master Yi nearly dies, survives on 1 HP, at least for a little while. Now, Singe, you can see here that this is what I was talking about. I actually kite the Singe and pretty much kill him. I flash forward to try to finish off Xayah and Rakan. I get Rakan, Xayah's now 1 HP, but unfortunately I get chain CC'd by the Xayah root into the Ahri Charm, and I end up dying. Nami picks up the shutdown though, so Xayah does go down. And now Syndra is in trouble because of Aatrox's nice Nami bubble to knock him up as well as slow him, and now Syndra is on the run, shoves him away with the Scatter the Weak. Aatrox flash Infernal Chains onto the Syndra, but with the Nami movement speed from the spell allows Syndra to escape, and Aatrox now has to hop the wall and back off because he can't really run down the Nami and the Syndra. So now I end up respawning. You can see I have a huge number of deaths this game, at least in comparison to like the rest of my KDA and even the rest of my team, to be honest. 4 kills, 4 deaths, and 6 assists at the moment. Not really the best game that we've ever had. And honestly, at this point, we're not really done too much work yet. We have done a decent amount of damage onto the enemy team and such, but we haven't really done anything to really carry our team as of yet. And we're kind of just waiting for the opportunity. Of course, Ashe scales decently well into the late game, so we will be getting that chance sooner or later if the game doesn't end so soon. So once again, we go back to farming the waves, and while waiting, we're gonna farm the Krugs as well. Master Yi is on the opposite side of the map, semi getting caught. Next wave is here, so I'm gonna just clear the next wave as well. Master Yi not really the best macro because he's the jungler he's on the opposite side of Baron. We do have Teemo Shrooms in there as wards for the Baron, but as the jungler, you generally don't want to be on the opposite side of the map from the objective, especially like for Baron or Elder, that kind of thing. Of course, if both objectives are at the same time, that's a little bit different, but in general, you don't want to be away from the objective because the enemy team can always have the option of rushing the objective. Now here you can see Master Yi is in trouble. He's getting run down by Rakan, and now my whole team has to basically rotate to help him. Thankfully though, the enemy team is in vision, and obviously they're not doing the Baron or anything sneaky like that. And instead, Aatrox is actually pushing the Baron lane, and here Dragon is spawning, so we decide to just go for the Dragon. And here Master Yi isn't actually here, so we basically there's like no point doing the Dragon because the enemy jungle is here and our jungler is not. So instead you can see we're just clearing out the wave, and here you can see I'm just trying to get some poke onto the enemy team. Aatrox panic ults there and just hops over the wall even though we weren't even attacking him, so no Aatrox ult for the upcoming fight. He tries to go in because he has his ult, I guess, and we're just gonna kite away from him. And this is really the fight where we start to do a lot of work. Like we kited the Aatrox to oblivion. We basically killed the Ahri. Her crown not even popped, of course, like we just auto attack, and we stun the Xayah. Xayah goes down as well, and now we flash forward to chase the rest of the kills, and we end up killing them all. But I end up dying to the Singe, Liandry's plus like Poison Trail. However, we still managed to kill everyone on the enemy team other than Aatrox. So 2 for 4 trade overall, and we also get the Dragon. Most likely we get the Dragon at least. Yeah, so overall I would say it's a pretty good trade. Master Yi kind of trolling here. He's trying to dive the Aatrox instead of just going for the free objective. And now he's like, pretty much 1 HP because he took like a couple of Tara shots. Yeah, like Master Yi is kind of really annoying to have as your jungler. Like this particular guy, like he's like never at the objective and like he's always doing something else. But anyways, now we finally do the dragon. Of course, no Ice Soul because the enemy team took away the second dragon, the Infernal Dragon. So now we're just gonna again farm whenever we're free. We're gonna clear out the Krugs. You can see the goal deficit between me and Xayah are still relatively steady, but it's slowly just closing just a little bit. Of course, it's not only about the comparison between you and your counterpart, but how much like work you're putting in for your team. Like in that particular fight, I did a lot of damage, and especially because we had 3 items completed, we were starting to really hurt. Ari comes in with the charm. I QSS the charm to pretty much just escape. Here, Singe flings the Nami instead of me, so I'm able to just auto attack him down. You can see we shred the Singe down really quickly because number 1, he's building AP, and number 2, we are at 3 items, so we do a decent amount of damage. This bush clearly watered. I get charmed into knockup, and I'm lucky to escape with my life because no one else was around. If they were, I would be in trouble. I try to go for the arrow on the Arya, but you can see my arrows in this match not really very on point. I'm kind of whiffing a lot of arrows, in this particular match, which is obviously not really a good sign. But it is what it is. And we're gonna head back out. Elder Dragon is now alive. Me and Xayah are the only 2 left alive in the game. So we're both gonna be looking to at least see that the other is not doing it. Xayah can see me clearing wave. I can see her clearing wave, and I'm gonna go ahead and clear the next wave in mid. Master Yi, again, we need to go to Elder Dragon, but he's going to red buff instead of Elder Dragon. And then he goes for the wave after. He's not even gonna bother to come over to Elder Dragon after he's cleared the wave, which is like horrible. Like, what are we doing? You can see I'm spam pinging him to get himself over here. And he's wasting a lot of time, during which time the whole enemy team is basically respawned. Now there's a control ward in the pixel bush, but somehow I managed to miss it when I was playing the game. I just walked by the control ward and I just didn't see it. So that's not too bad. Thankfully though, we are able to remove it because Master Yi does pop the sweeper. And now we are focusing Elder Dragon. The enemy team obviously knows that we're doing it, so we are going to have to kind of try to maybe kill the enemy team first. Ari is really low. Basically, she's out of the Elder Dragon fight, even though she hasn't died yet because she's like 1 HP. And in the meantime, the Master Yi again goes back to farming his jungle. I'm trying my best to focus the dragon and get the dragon if we can, destroying the enemy control wards. Rakan looks like he wants to go in. Xayah has already outed. Rakan now tries to go in but gets slowed severely. I'm going to have to kite back because of the Singed. I somehow end up killing Rakan and the Singed, and I have my my ghost active, so I'm just chasing them down. Flash over to kill the Xayah, picking up a triple, and Master Yi finishes the final kill. So we managed to ace the enemy team, and now we're thinking of getting some major damage onto the enemy base. We may not be able to end the game here, but we can at least take some towers, possibly some inhibs. So here we're gonna quickly clear out that lane with the wave. Here we can try to get top lane inhib. As I always mention, the lane inhibs are more important than the middle ones, because the middle ones don't really help you that much, whereas the side lane ones, because of how long the side lanes are, they can kind of accumulate and build up pressure for you. So it's sort of like really good in that sense, to get the side lane inhibs instead of the mid lane ones. Here we're gonna back. We have a Magnetic Blaster, and of course building towards the Phantom Dancer. So at this point, with the attack speed, with the attack damage, and of course with Kraken Slayer as well, we're doing a lot of damage, and the slows, the utility, all that good stuff. So now with the Elder, we want to pick up the Baron. So I'm pinging the Baron. I'm like 90% sure Master Yi wasn't gonna go straight to the Baron. But he actually did go straight to the Baron. So the enemy team is not really even trying to stop us. Only Ari is really sussing out what's actually going on here, but she is not really particularly doing anything about it. And it looks like it's going to be a relatively free Baron for us. Of course, we do have Elder Dragon, so it's really hard for the enemy team to contest. So we do pick up the Baron, and we only have Elder Dragon for 20 seconds left, so it's really difficult to use both Baron and Elder together in this match, because our Elder is of course running out. So we back, we complete the Phantom Dancer, secure the full build, and now, you know, we can really you know, put in some work. So we first are going to get the Rip buff share. We still have Baron even though we don't have Elder, and with the Baron we still have a good chance of ending the game with the Baron empowered minions. So now we're going to push down mid lane together. We are able to pick up the mid lane tower, and Teemo, I was going to try to move to the last lane with towers with Teemo, but honestly I think we're so strong at this point that our team should be able to win fights, or maybe even threaten with the Baron buff to end, because with the Baron minions tanking we can do some damage to the base. You can see the Kraken still proc onto Xayah, that's insane amounts of damage. Rakan tries to go in, misses me completely, and we kill him pretty easily, and Aatrox following suit. So at the moment they 2 are dead, I pretty much know that the game is over, and we do just end the game straight there. So I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.